The northern coast is shrouded in cold mist, the dawn barely breaking. Silence reigns, heavy and expectant. Suddenly, the rhythmic creak of oars pierces the stillness. Long ships, dragon-headed and menacing, emerge from the fog. On the shore, defenders grip their spears, hearts pounding. The longships grind onto the stones, and out pour the Northmen, tall, bearded, hardened by sea and storm. They stand in a line, shields and axes ready, but do not charge. For a moment, the world holds its breath. The only sound is the lapping of waves, now ominous. Then a low hum begins among the Vikings. It grows, a deep, resonant vibration that travels through the ground and into the bones. This is not a shout, but a primal, unsettling sound, a predator's warning. The hum swells, joined by more voices, becoming a collective force. The air thrums with malevolent energy. The defenders feel dread creeping in. This is not the clash of steel they expected. The sound is a weapon, aimed at their minds. The Vikings stand as one, their unity palpable. The battle has begun, not with swords, but with sound. The first assault is psychological, breaking spirit before body. The villagers sense the outcome before the first blow is struck. The Vikings use the very air as their weapon. The echoes of this moment will linger long after the fight. The defenders' courage wavers under the weight of the sound. The invaders' presence is overwhelming, their intent clear. The storm has arrived, and it begins with a roar. The land itself seems to remember the terror. The Vikings knew battles were won in the mind before the field. Sound was their invisible weapon, a psychological tool refined over generations. Before axes, they unleashed a symphony of fear, a performance to shatter morale. Their unified rhythmic chant was a monstrous heartbeat, not a chaotic yell. Then the crash of axe hafts and sword hilts on shields, a coordinated war drum. The message, "We are one. We will break you." This wall of sound rolled across the field, a physical force. For enemies it was terrifying. The brain reacts to such sounds with primal fear. The Vikings' ritual was a sustained sonic attack, overloading senses and triggering panic. It made them seem larger, more organized, more inhuman. Commanders struggled to give orders, soldiers struggled to think. The sound was a wedge, splitting discipline and resolve. For the Vikings, it was the opposite, a unifying force. Joining the roar, striking shields in unison, they submerged individual fear into collective will. It bonded them, transforming individuals into a single roaring entity. The sound focused their aggression and reminded them of their shared identity. They were not just men, they were Vikings. Their roar was their strength made manifest. The battlefield became a stage for their psychological warfare. The enemy's spirit broke before the first clash. The Vikings' victory often began with sound. Fear was their first weapon. Terrifying sounds in warfare are ancient, but the Vikings perfected them. Roman historian Tacitus described the Germanic baritus, a low murmur building to a thunderous roar, amplified by shields. A strong, unified cry foretold victory, a weak one, defeat. The Vikings inherited and refined this tradition. Their war cries were deliberate acts of psychological warfare, not random outbursts. These rituals synchronized warriors, aligning breath, heart, and intent. The war cry was a signal of readiness, a final moment before battle. It was also spiritual, channeling the ferocity of gods and beasts. Berserkers in trance-like fury howled and bit their shields, becoming more than human. Their cries embodied nature's raw power. The roar was a prayer, a promise of violence and a transformation. It was the Vikings' way of becoming unstoppable. The Vikings' arsenal of sound went beyond voices and shields. Horns, carved from animal bone, produced deep booming notes that carried for miles, a warning and a threat. Multiple horns created a cacophony disorienting defenders. Drums, though rare in finds, likely added a relentless, anxiety-inducing beat. Even bone flutes and pipes with their shrill notes could unnerve. The Vikings used the full spectrum of sound, from deep rumbles to piercing shrieks. Every instrument amplified terror, making the battlefield a landscape of fear. Their mastery of sound was as formidable as their steel. Our knowledge comes from sagas, archaeology, and eyewitness accounts. The sagas recall warriors roaring, shields singing, horns braying. Archaeological finds, horns, flutes, and shield designs confirm their sonic tactics. Written records describe the terror that preceded Viking attacks. Even filed, coloured teeth found in graves show their commitment to intimidation, every detail crafted to inspire fear. The Vikings used the land itself as an amplifier. Fjords with their steep cliffs echoed and magnified war cries and horns, making sounds monstrous and inescapable. Valleys and forests projected and distorted their noise, playing on primal fears. Even the sea carried their chants for miles, giving defenders time to dread their arrival. The environment became part of their psychological warfare. Settlements heard the roar long before seeing the ships. The slow build-up of fear was often more effective than surprise. The Vikings turned nature into an ally. Every raid was a performance, the land their stage. Terror echoed from every stone and tree. The Viking roar was a psychological weapon, dismantling enemy will. Loud, low, and discordant sounds trigger primal fear, flooding the body with stress hormones. This anxiety eroded discipline and morale, making organized defense nearly impossible. The unified roar isolated opponents, making them feel vulnerable. For Vikings, the ritual was empowering. Joining voices released endorphins, creating a battle high. Individual fear dissolved into collective aggression. The roar switched off fear, switched on ferocity. The mind broke before the body. The Vikings mastered the battlefield of the mind. The Viking age is gone, but their lessons endure. Their roar was unity, morale, and psychological strength made audible. Today, our battles are different, but the need for cohesion remains. Teams, communities, and families find strength in shared purpose and collective voice. The Vikings showed that courage can be collective and vocal. By giving voice to their strength, they amplified it. In any challenge, unity and shared resolve are our greatest weapons. The Viking roar is a timeless reminder. Together we are stronger. In the darkest times, our greatest power is the courage we build together. The echo of their roar lives on in every united effort against adversity.